This season of My First Dungeon is sponsored by Mythworks. Mythworks is dedicated to sharing stories we can all enjoy with creators from around the world. They're the publishers of Slug Blaster, The Last Caravan, and of course, the Wildsea. We are thrilled to be working with a company that makes such great games and that is so dedicated to uplifting creators and the actual play community. So head on over to myth.works and use the promo code MyFirstDungeon, all one word, for 25% off your order of the Wildsea, so that you too can set sail upon the verdant waves. Once again, that's 25% off the Wildsea when you go to myth.works and use the promo code MyFirstDungeon. And with that, enjoy the show.
Heartbeat. Notable not for its own sound, but for the way it silences the noise of the rustling waves with each compression. The black ichor that flows in and out of the heart drips down the walls of the engine room as the lifeblood of your ship is sent through once more. You all feel that first beat reverberate out through the ship. You feel it deep within you, and you get a flash of memory. I would like to go around and have each of you share a memory for each heartbeat, whoever would like to start. And I would like you to incorporate another crew member into that memory, pretty please. And I have some words that I can give you to inspire that memory. I'll give you one at random when you choose.
I'll take a random.
Okay. Brian, you want a random?
Yeah.
Your inspiration word is betrayal.
Jesus. A memory of betrayal. I feel like this has gotta be with Dr. Carcoss.
It's just gotta be.
It's just gotta be. And I think Whistlin, when we first disentombed Dr. Carcoss from his amber prison, Whistlin kind of like took a little bit of advantage of him. Wasn't particularly like kind. This was not necessarily a person he cared to have on the boat. And the betrayal was I had Dr. Carcoss drink a beverage that is extremely unpalatable to most people, but is good. Like, Mothrans really enjoy it, but I'm very aware that other people do not enjoy it as kind of like a prank or a bit. And especially at a point where Dr. Carcoss now can kind of communicate with the crew. This was like day 2 when he certainly could not.
Ezra, how did Dr. Carcoss react at that sip of beverage?
Ooh. Being used to be forced to do things against his will, he smiled back with gritted teeth.
And we flash back to the present as you all catch your balance, having all been transported back into this memory from Whistlin's perspective.
Whoa.
As the heartbeat settles, and then again, another heartbeat. Who would like to go next?
I'll go.
Cherry, you have Leviathan.
Good. No, good. Good, great. In the early days of being on the ship, Cherry has always tried to act natural and act cheerful and act like nothing's wrong and act like nothing's ever been wrong. And when she first came onto the ship, it was much harder to do that because she was coming from something that was traumatic. There was a day when, almost like yesterday, where we were being chased, and it was my first experience like that on the ship, and it was very, very scary, and I just felt completely in over my head. And the person to comfort me was Izora. And the way that she comforted me was that she offered me this almost like shawl, blanket, sweater kind of thing, just like a comforting gesture, which is funny when it's wrapped around a tree. Cherry doesn't have like shoulders or anything. Does wear it well, I would add. Not important, but I would add that. And this shawl, I don't know the origin of this, but Izora, you just mentioned to me that it was Leviathan furs, which is an aspect that I have on my character sheet that I have just put a origin to. And in that moment, it was the difference between me running from this ship and running to find somewhere else and staying. And I think that was like that solidified Cherry's relationship, or at least the amount that Cherry really respects and loves Izora and wants to keep her close.
What was the nature of what was chasing the ship?
I think it was like raiders or something kind of innocuous, but really scary to someone who's never experienced it.
Yeah.
They were just after us because maybe we had more parts on the ship that actually worked, and they could see that. And, you know, that's not really the case so much anymore. Back before the ship was
broken.
Back before the ship was a piece of crap.
You all see from a canopy of red cherry flowers that Cherry is used to kind of seeing through and around, but maybe is a little disorienting for you all at first, a ship of angry raiders chasing the crackling heart. And it's weird to be in Cherry's perspective and feel this fear, but then feel it get changed into comfort as a pair of ghostly hands wraps a nice snug fur. And you all feel the warmth of that fur and the kind of almost magical comfort that they bring. You all flash back to the present. You're now fully disoriented, almost like a little nauseous by experiencing these collective memories, and the heart beats again. Who goes next?
I will take it.
All right, Bat. Your word is silence.
Ooh. Okay. This memory is of the moment Bat woke up. It is on the deck of the crackling heart. It is nighttime. Starry sky above it, and the soft, like whirring down sound of an engine as traces of voltaic energy dissipate. Bat is on the ground, still struggling to keep form as masses of tiny bumblebee bats wriggle and writhe together, trying to hold on to each other in the vaguest way they can remember that they should be. As Bat is there struggling to hold an image of itself, Whistlin is present. I think I happen to be here to see the sparks fly, strike a swarm of bumblebee bats that made the space around the ship their home, and then watched as they all fell to the ground and crawled together. And I think in this moment there's silence as just the struggled grunting of bats trying to mimic the sounds of vocal cords.
Whistlin, what was the silent gesture that you made that welcomed this new creature that you had no obligation to be kind to initially?
When the lightning struck, Whistlin was hanging out on deck, just like looking around, keeping an eye into the distance, strumming a song. And when this lightning struck, it was loud enough to cease him immediately, just out of pure fear and sudden, loud noise. And I think when he sees all these bats kind of coming together, like he hung out. I've hung out with the bats before. They're usually kind of around me in the crow's nest, They seem to like the song and the pitch of my voice. And when I see them all of a sudden becoming one creature, I think my first instinct is to just try to pick them up and right them and help them get their sea legs.
You all experience the memory of first many small creatures at once, and again, a disorienting experience that none of you are accustomed to. And then as they form together in this deeply uncomfortable process, you are reminded of something that you all know, which is the soft comfort of Whistlin that he can have for each of you sometimes on the ship. Maybe not Ezra, but
For most of you, though.
for most of you. Where is everybody on the ship while this is going on?
Izora's up on the deck.
Yeah, I'm up on the deck.
Cherry too.
Do we hear the heartbeat as this is happening?
The heartbeat is what is lockstep with these happening. It's not fast. It's with each heartbeat you are getting pulled back into. So this is like a moment before the next heartbeat.
I think I feel the heartbeat and I kind of maybe recognize what it might be coming from and start moving almost like drunkenly towards the engine room.
From the underthresh platform, Ezra's doing the same thing, shambling through the halls of the ship, trying to reach the engine room, being struck by each memory, almost down to their knees and back up again.
I think Bat is also making their way, I think following Dr. Ezra, but I think unlike Whistlin and Dr. Carcoss, I think Bat is not having as bad of a time with this, as this is not that dissimilar to how they usually feel.
Very good. Cherry, did you say where you were?
I'm on the deck as well.
On the deck as well.
Mhm.
This beat is irregular as it kicks back up, and after this most recent one, you think it might be done, you start moving your way out on the ship, and then in this motion you get struck by another that silences everything on the ship, and you feel that piercing sort of pain of getting pulled back into memory again. Ezra or Izora?
I'll take it happily.
Ezra, your word is broken.
In the present day, Ezra falls onto all fours. But going back, they're fluttering through books in the engine room and trying desperately to communicate to Izora in languages that he has no capability to truly understand. Who he is. Every word comes out like broken glass. It means practically nothing. Nothing is the right word chosen, as he's trying to grasp the fact that the language he spoke, the language he knows, is dead.
Izora, how do you help this stranger who can't make heads or tails of all of the languages of a new world to them?
Izora is no stranger to being in new places and having to start over. So she knows it will be unsettling at first, but she uses her mesmer qualities to connect with you mind to mind rather than language. And it doesn't go over great at first. But you get used to it.
You all feel, from Ezra's perspective, first the pain of being in a world that it has moved well beyond you in terms of language, like you have a shard almost in your brain keeping you from understanding. And then you feel the entrance, some of you have probably felt, of Izora's mind into Ezra's mind. It's helpful, but it's disorienting. And Ezra's continues to look down at the book in frustration, though perhaps a little bit calmer as we... This next one comes almost instantly. You who have been moving through find yourselves having fallen over and supporting yourself on hands and knees as you're moving to the engine room. Whistlin, you reach up for your face and you find that your nose is dripping with a black ichor like a nosebleed.
Oh.
As the heartbeat... Izora, the last word, your word is lies.
Oh, goodness. Izora was the first member of the crew to come on and has slowly but surely grown to quite dislike Captain Kelly. For she feels with each person who comes onto this ship, they are not getting the same story that she got or that anyone else is getting of why they've been hired and why we are here. And it is when Ezra Carcoss comes to be and is told whatever it is that he is told about joining the crew, that Izora makes up her mind that she will not stand for Kelly's lies.
Ooh, I think I'm going to leave that at that, as you all feel the understanding of someone who spends a lot of their life within their own mind and within the minds of others has marked Captain Kelly with distrust that you all feel as you come out of this memory. As you guys are moving through, you still have this disorientation. Whistlin, it's not a big drip, but you do feel that little bit, and I think anybody else who's moving around starts to feel that same kind of headache, and you feel that not all of you have noses of the exact same way, but the equivalent of your nose has a small nosebleed of this black ichor.
I'm just yelling back. I'm moving towards the engine room and just yelling back, "Hey, guys, I think something's going on with the engine." And I'm going to open up the door and see what is happening in there.
You open up the door and you see, you've been in this engine room before. This is made of the same sort of pale white wood as the rest of the ship. There is a mixture of machinery of what may have once been a more traditional electric or steam or gas engine. But in the center where that actual engine would be is this big heart. And you've seen it before, you've seen it still. You can't remember a time where you saw it beating, and it's not beating at the moment, but you can see from the walls and the different biological and mechanical tubes connected to the heart that the ichor is flowing, and you can see it sort of lightly dripping out of different cracks and connections in all the different engine parts.
Does this look normal or does this look abnormal?
This is how this room looks, although it's been still in a way that the room is not still, decidedly, right now. The heart hasn't had another beat, but the tubes and stuff are clearly flowing liquid.
And it hasn't been before. It hasn't been until recently.
And it hasn't been for... You now are thinking about it, you can't really remember a time where this heart was beating as long as it's been on this ship, but there are a lot of holes in your memory.
I'm just looking at that and kind of yelling back out the door. Hey, anyone know how to work this thing? It's looking weird.
I could maybe give it a hand.
Ezra, you feel the similar... as you reach the top of the ladder from the underthresh platform, you feel a liquid dripping down your face as well. A black ichor kind of pooling in your... Do you have facial hair as Ezra?
Yeah, I think he has a scruffy little stubble beard.
It's zigzagging kind of through the stubble of your mustache as it hits the corner of your mouth, and you taste this bile-like, hard to describe, a flavor that you would have never experienced in life, that tastes, the best description I can give you is that it tastes like the discomfort of silence.
Oh, now I get it.
Pulling out a small handkerchief, Dr. Carcoss just stuffs it up his nose and keeps rushing over. Right, W.
You worked with these before?
That is moving, isn't it?
Yeah, you worked with these before? You familiar? This type of engine?
A heart to heart, right?
Perfect. And I just grab you and I just push you forward. I go, that's you. This isn't my area. I'm gonna go find everyone else, see if I don't know how everyone else is doing. And I'm gonna run out and start trying to find everyone else and like just gathering everyone in the engine room, but leaving Dr. Carcoss alone for a moment with the heart.
You don't realize it, Whistlin, but you're bounding up the stairs and you're kind of doing the thing where you look up and then you look down at your feet and look up, and then all of a sudden you're at the top and Izora is straight up in your face.
Okay.
Is the engine working again?
Kinda. We need a team meeting about this type of thing.
Oh, this is an interesting twist.
All right, that was more ominous than it needed to be. Okay, excuse me.
Izora's going to start working her way down as well to try to get to the engine room.
I'm just starting like banging on pots that I find. Like, everybody, engine room! Engine's going weird!
You all hear that. Does everybody go to the engine room?
Absolutely. Did we all kind of know, like, inherently that this was the heart? Or if we weren't there...
You guys all knew it was here. Like, this wasn't like a restricted off-limits room, like by anybody. But it was, it was one of those things where it's like, why do we have a beast pulling the ship when we have, when we have this engine, but we don't have an engine? The heart's not been beating for as long as all of you can remember.
I more meant like the getting like visions and like getting sucked into the memories. Like, did we kind of inherently understand that was the heart's doing?
I think it's timed so specifically with it that you probably do inherently understand that.
Okay.
The thing that you also realize about these memories, for everybody whose memory it was, is that you realize that memory was missing until this moment.
Oh.
They're yours, but you didn't have it before. And that's disorienting.
Oh.
What do you guys do in the engine room?
First thing Ezra does, as he walks up and touches the heart with one hand, and whispers to the heart, "Hear our watch, the Ichor sleep. Are you waking from the longest sleep?" And I'm going to whisper the longest sleep at the heart to discover something new.
Yes.
Ooh! 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 Yeah!
Baby.
Ooh, baby.
Use my toys.
As Ezra approaches and touches the heart and whispers the longest sleep, you feel, now this close, you feel Ezra's voice almost get sucked out of the room as another heartbeat happens, sending you all once again into a shared memory. This one's a little longer. This one you recognize the hands, the tattooed forearms of Captain Kelly is whose perspective you're in. For using that whisper, I'm going to give you 2 flashes of information that Captain Kelly's memory holds. The first is Captain Kelly sits around a circle of sailors having a meal that feels preparatory, like a Last Supper sort of vibe. Something is about to happen. There are a handful of other figures around this meal, eating on some hearty stock. You see a Mothrin. you see an ardent with soft brown skin, a woman who wears a round-brimmed hat. You see a younger ardent, seems too young to be part of this crew, maybe 16, 17 years old. And you see one more figure is a Gao, a great burly Gao who has some kind of large weapon affixed to his back. They're not talking, they're just eating. The next flash is far more chaotic. It is within the roots of some great iron root tree. Harsh light mixed with deep darkness is flashing. There is smoke, there is chaos, there is conflict, but there is silence. Flashes of explosion, flashes of silence. In and out. Screams of pain, flashes of silence. You see, from Captain Kelly's perspective, you see the dead body of the ardent woman tossed aside by something large, like their body completely disfigured. And Captain Kelly is dragging the body of a near-dead Mothrin out of this area as the silence goes in and out, and you can see in the peripheral of her vision the smoke and something gigantic fighting around and falling. And then you flash back.
Do I recognize the Mothrin?
You recognize the wings.
What do the wings look like, Elliot?
They've got some markings on them.
What kind of markings do they have on them, Elliot?
Mothrin pupate into new Mothrin. Is this the Whistlin that came before Whistlin?
Oh, that'd be stupid. That'd be crazy.
Fucked up, dude.
That'd be so silly.
Listen, yes, you know the markings on your wings. This is a previous pupation of yourself.
Oh my god.
That you do not remember. At least not you have a flat, you recognize that version of yourself, but you don't remember this crew, you don't remember this mission, you don't remember nearly dying. You don't really remember your last pupation.
Would the rest of us know Whistlin's markings well enough? Would that be something that, like, culturally you would just know?
I would probably ask anybody else to kind of roll for it.
Okay.
Can we?
Please let me roll for
Yeah.
this.
What would you have us roll?
You tell me. I'm looking at skills real quick. I think study, sense.
Can I do instinct and sense?
Yeah, you could do instinct and sense.
Can we all have an advantage since we're all kind of doing this together?
No, this is a really individual thing, but Kendo, Bat can have an advantage.
Sick.
Oh.
I do this kind of thing all the time. This is just what life is for me.
I will say that since waking up, Ezra's been studying upon all of these weird people, and thus, could I use Tend as someone who's studied a lot of Mothrin biology in the past week?
Yeah, or you've healed some of Whistlin's injury. Yeah, you can put Tend in there.
I rolled a friggin' 6.
You rolled a friggin' 6. Hey, Cherry, that's definitely Whistlin.
I knew
in that
it.
memory.
Can I do iron sense as far as like willing myself through? Like, I think the waves of memory, it's not so much that they don't affect Bat's physiology as much as Bat has just become very accustomed to constantly being in this state of remembering things I didn't remember.
Yes.
Friends, is there a cut? Because I rolled sharps and Tend.
There's no cut on this.
So I rolled a triumph with a twist.
Oh.
Very good. Ezra, that is definitely Whistlin. I think that I can either throw it to the pitch for twist, but with this, I'm almost inclined to let you just ask another question about this memory for like a little extra, just a little
I
extra
like
juice.
that.
I would love to do that. Looking at the state of the other people in this memory, what is the nature of their injuries? What took them out?
It's interesting because it simultaneously, there is something very bizarre that has happened to them. Like, you see that all of their orifices have this similar black ichor kind of lingering out them, but they have also been just mauled by something large, a leviathan likely.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, Kendo, what'd you get?
I got a 4 with a twist.
I'm going to say, Kendo, you don't recognize that it's Whistlin, but you definitely recognize the other thing that I'm sure you've maybe put together based on our conversation.
Yeah. Yes.
Secrets.
You can share that if you'd like. I'm going to kind of leave that up to you.
I love secrets.
I'll have it come out during the conversation.
But what's the twist you want to add on? Or do you want to throw it to the group for a twist?
I'll throw it to the group.
I kind of have a question because we saw that the Ardent was dead and the Mothrin was near dead.
Yeah.
Do we see the Gao?
You also saw in the flash that the Gao with this large kind of eldritchy, wild mix of nature and machinery weapon, their body is down with their head fully exploded in black ichor.
So just confirm, definitely dead?
Definitely dead.
I have a pitch for Bat's twist.
Yes.
I can't stop thinking about this round brimmed hat, which is maybe not the thing you wanted me to focus on. Maybe it is. But
words are intentional.
Yeah. Does Kelly still have the hat?
Kelly does not have the hat.
Okay, we can't have Kelly have the hat.
The hat is somewhere else. That's the only reason.
What?
Can we see where the hat went?
Wait, can I change Izora's role then? Because I haven't rolled yet.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Change Izora's role. What do you want to do?
Izora, well, I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to roll the same dice, but I'm with a different intention because I'm also intrigued by that hat.
What's the intention?
I'm rolling instinct and study, and Izora is interested in clothing and crafting and these sorts of things, and that hat did indeed strike her as attractive. And I'd like to roll these two to see if I've ever seen that hat in another context.
Okay, great. That's a great roll.
I got a 6 and a 4.
Oh.
Where have I seen that hat?
Yeah, Izora, you saw that hat last night. Whistlin shot it off somebody's head.
Oh! I was about to call it, honestly, yeah.
Can I, because I was running around banging on pots and pans trying to find everybody. Do I see Captain Kelly?
Captain Kelly has not come and joined in the engine room.
I want to find Captain Kelly.
Okay, great. Run up, and you see Captain Kelly is laying, and is just like, is sitting kind of reclined on the deck in the morning sun, and has her flask with her, and like wipes just away this black ichor with her nose, and is just like drinking.
Hey, you want to tell me what the hell that was?
I'd love to if I knew.
Your memory's not as bad as mine.
My memory's pretty fucked up. But, supposing that was you that I carried out of whatever that was. But I don't remember that day.
What do you remember before that? Days before, weeks before? You must have had something that got us there.
Yeah, but we need to go through my life story.
Hey! I'm not fucking around with my memories. I don't care about your life story, I care about mine, and mine has a big hole in it right now.
Widlin. Come on. Hey. We're all friends here.
And don't screw around with me.
I mean it. I don't remember what happened to you. I know we worked together at some point in the past, and then at some point we were on this ship. But and then she stops herself. I don't remember.
Missing a hat?
Yeah, missing a lot of things.
While this is going on, can Izora try to connect psychically in some capacity with the heart?
Ooh. Yeah.
I think I'm going to use tides and sense. And then does Izora have any memory of this heart ever working as the person who's been on here? I mean, outside of Kelly, the longest.
No, you explicitly don't.
Okay. Then it's just, I'm just rolling 4. The highest is a 5.
5. Okay, so conflict. So with a drawback. What is your intention connecting with the heart? What are you trying to get out of that connection?
Izora's trying to gauge the state of the heart in the sense of, like, is it well? Is it sick? Is it angry? Is that the emotional state, I suppose, of the heart?
I need you to roll to resist what the heart does back to you as you try to enter it psychically.
Totally.
Totally. Cool.
Yes. How does that roll work?
You are rolling to brace yourself mentally.
Okay.
So choose some appropriate skills for doing such.
Bracing myself.
Can I assist in this? Can I give an advantage?
How?
Because I'm right there, and I think I see enough of the flash across Izora's face to lay a gentle but supportive hand on her shoulder.
Okay. If this goes wrong, it's also going to hurt Ezra.
But I get an extra die?
But you get an extra die.
I'm doing veils and sense, which
Great.
would have, because Izora frequently taps into things that she has no clue what's going to be on the other end.
Absolutely.
So that's 4, but now so it's 5 total.
Great.
Abby, please don't fuck this up.
Hey, Abby, don't fuck this
I
up.
want 3 twists. The top number is a 5, and there's 2
okay.
of them.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Okay. Okay. Here's what happens. Izora, you open yourself up to tap in psychically to this heart, and what you get back is not a voice, but a force that says, "Put me back." That knocks you on your ass and pulls Ezra with you. You're both going to mark Meyer.
Oh my goodness.
Ezra, you, when she does this and you touch her, you get a flash with your ghost sight of a body around this heart that towers beyond what your vision can comprehend for a flash. You get a large body of something alien and something big and something uncomfortable.
Almost on instinct, Ezra pulls out a revolver that doesn't work and clicks back the hammer, aiming it at the heart. But it's non-functional. It is, however, pre-verdant heirloom, and I can mark that instead of Meyer.
Oh, very good.
Wow.
Your soldier instincts kick in.
Damn. Do I choose the Meyer, or would it be my Mesmer one, since that's really like what I was tapping into?
You can choose the Meyer, whatever makes kind of sense to you, I think.
Okay.
This is just like things you fall back on when you've experienced something horrifying.
I'm gonna check then my Meyer, it says your own thoughts are cloudy or mercurial, and the combination of all these flashbacks and memories that were not Izora's, but maybe they were, but who knows what's happening, in combination with this experience, Izora feels very disconnected from her own mind right now.
You have what I would say are pockets of silence in your otherwise very busy mind.
Just when Ezra pulls the gun, Cherry just kind of panics a little bit, and she's like, okay, I think everybody needs to calm down. I'm gonna go make some tea. Everybody relax. Calm down. Everything is fine. And Cherry's going to leave the room and start preparing a pretty large batch of tea.
Very good.
Yeah, not her usual. Something different.
Tea, okay, great. Do you roll like cook to make tea, or is this something you get to automatically do?
Well, I'm making something a little special, but I want to wait for everybody to sit down and have a cup of it with me before I get it.
Copy that. Copy that.
Good.
Cherry, you don't have a nose,
Yeah.
but what you do have are these flowers that, are a sensor, an olfactory sort of thing. You notice that a handful of those sort of have a black bleed coming into the petals, like when you put dye in the roots of a flower and then grow it.
Oh, God.
But you go make tea.
Yeah. I was thinking it's also maybe seeping through like patches of bark that are hard to see, but I love that it's like dripping out of the flowers too. It's so yucky.
Yucky.
So yucky.
Bat, you had something.
I was going to say, because there's the doubles that Izora just rolled,
I do get a twist.
and I have a suggestion for a twist.
Please.
I think that after that connection that Izora just made and that like forceful push off, I think there is a lingering like voltaic like charge in the air around it now.
Yes.
Oh.
Bat feels that for sure. You can almost see it.
Izora doesn't realize that this is not just something that's happening in her own mind, like a hallucination, and so she's gonna try to warn. The heart does not want to be touched, I think. It
Matt
maybe
starts to
wants...
get up to go touch it.
Izora sees Bat going to touch it and says, "It has aura of anger. I do not think this is good to touch."
No, but it's just... And I think upon, like, getting to, like, the outer edge of this kind of aura of voltaic energy, Bat touches, like, a single finger on it and falls apart. And I'm gonna burn Shirk the skin just because, that's fun. Why not?
Just because.
You touch it, Bat?
Yeah, I touch it and immediately...
There is one more beat when you touch it. And you get pulled back into a very small perspective. Again. Skittering across a amber root with blood and ichor. And then it joins up with another lizard. And then another lizard. And another lizard. And slowly a swarm of lizards comes together in the aftermath of this conflict that you just saw and becomes a figure. And you can feel them getting a sense of themselves and going to the Ardent with the round-brimmed hat, who's dead. And they collect that Ardent and leave this area. And that's the flash of memory you get.
We all experience this, or just that?
You all experience it.
Huh?
We love a lizard's memory, huh? Come on.
Love a
Love a
lizard.
lizard's memory.
I did think it was going to be the squirrel, but good. This is good.
This is better. Cool.
I do have to tell you all, this hat is the same hat from last night. I recognize this when I look across the waves.
Let's jump back to Whistlin and Kelly real quick. She looks at you. What do you want to hear, Whistlin?
Listen, I just don't want you to be fucking around with what you know about me. Listen, Mothran's memory is not something... Previous pupations, I got fragments, and I want more of them. So if you have them, I want them. So don't be holding out on me.
I
Don't be
don't
hiding
have them.
behind...
I threw them into the Whisper Well.
Well, that was a mite bit selfish of you, don't you think?
I wish I could remember why I did it.
Kelly.
Well,
Thing about memory is that even if they're gone, the pain's still there. She takes a big swig of her flask. Guess I know a small part why now.
Yeah. Jesus. Listen, I'm part of the crew, but don't... I'm looking for memories. I'm looking for songs. I'm looking for stuff. Don't go throwing any more things into a whisper well, okay?
Yeah, okay. Sorry, for what it's worth.
All right, crew meet downstairs. The heart's doing something crazy.
Yeah, all right, yeah. She wipes, like, a tear out from under her eye. I'll be right down.
And I head off down to the engine room.
I think if it's okay, I think Cherry bumps into you, like either on the stairs or just like, maybe just like right as you hit the stairs from the deck, and she's got her big wooden bowl, the massive one, and it's full of stuff and water. And yeah, I think maybe we connect a little bit, and it the meniscus kind of, jiggles. I hate that. Cut that.
It's staying.
Keep it in. Add sound design to that, Brian.
Brian, could you pop in a meniscus jiggle in there?
Just be clear. What meniscus are we talking about?
The tea. Never mind. Forget it.
The big
It's very
bowl.
thick
I
tea.
see.
Very thick.
I see.
The tea in the bowl.
Hey there, it's Elliot from the Many-Sided Media team. In addition to playing and producing here on My First Dungeon, I'm also a game designer, known for such games as Something is Wrong with the Chickens, a rules-like game of chickens, eldritch horror, and revenge. Project Echo, a solo time travel game played in the pages of a planner. And the upcoming Rom-Com Drama Bomb, a 3-player game of meet cutes and mayhem. If you like weird and unique games and want to bring something new to your table, head to moreblueberries.shop and use code MyFirstDungeon for 20% off your order. That's MoreBlueberries.shop. Thanks!
What would a character do if they knew they were part of a story? What would they say to the author that is pulling their strings? In Samantha Lee's solo RPG, Death of the Author, players take on the role of a character fighting for control over their narrative. Draw tarot cards and modify scene prompts to bend the story to your will. Each change, however, comes with a consequence, as the author may use your own words against you. Death of the Author is crowdfunding on BackerKit from May 14th to May 28th. You can find the project by searching Death of the Author BackerKit in your search engine of choice. Fight the narrative. Defy your author. Little Wolves is a folktale TTRPG where players fill the fur of shape-shifting werewolves in a realm of fae and of magic called the Enchanted Forest. Players will craft physical masks that represent their characters and use them during play to shift between their wolf and their mortal forms. As they perform favors and complete quests, new marks are made on their masks that reflect the real physical changes that the werewolves undergo. The Enchanted Forest is deep and detailed with fae queens, courts, and all manner of denizen for your werewolves to meet. The crowdfunding campaign for Little Wolves launches May 14th. You can follow the campaign at bytes.rip/littlewolves. That's bytes.rip/littlewolves. And you can check out the free demo and quick start at bytes.rip/littledemo.
Just clarifying. What kind of tea is this?
A nice.
No. Not the quality. The contents. What's the contents of the tea?
I call it nice tea. It's my name for it. So it's not just the quality. It's actually what it is. And there's I have ginger in it, like I always do. A little bit of tree bark, some mushroom.
So what?
I'm really busy right now. I'm trying to make tea for the whole crew. So maybe we can talk about this later, okay? Is everything okay up here? I heard, argument sounds.
It's fine. Captain's done something very unthoughtful.
Oh.
But it's fine. She's always like that.
Well, are you coming back down here now?
Yeah. Do you need any help with that?
Oh. You've never offered me help with my tea before.
Let me be clear. I'm not going to drink it until I know all of the ingredients.
Oh, okay, fine. Let me just go finish it and then I'll bring it down and then we'll all have a glass. And I promise it will be worth it, especially if there's questions that you have about everything that we just saw.
Sounds good to me.
Cherry, you run off to the galley. What's the last step of preparing this tea?
So I have my special ingredient, which is my special gorse root that I picked up.
Gorse.
I looked it up, but I don't remember what it is. But it is a real thing. That's my special ingredient. It's totally safe and fine. I say to myself, to no one in the galley. I'm just frustrated. It's totally safe. It's totally fine. And
somewhere else in the ship, Whistlin just sneezes.
And I go and put a little pink peppercorns in it that I grind up half of them and leave half of them intact for the color. That's all.
Okay.
It's nice.
It's nice. Whistlin comes to the engine room.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Kelly joins a few moments later.
Oh, Whistlin, Kelly, the heart, it has bad aura. It's do not touch. As you see, the bat has been discombobulated.
It wants to be returned to its body.
That too.
The heart.
Sorry? What?
The heart, the beating heart of this Leviathan that nearly killed your entire crew, talking directly to Captain Kelly, wishes to be returned back to its body.
That doesn't seem right.
That seems like a thing we shouldn't do. Seems like an easy no.
Probably a reason it's out. Yep.
This is, well, Izora is she wants to ask Kelly a bunch of questions, but having remembered that she doesn't trust the things that Kelly's saying.
I love that you said that. That was so good. I was like, have you been looking at my notes? Goddamn.
Maybe I'm not explaining myself well enough. Let me switch to low sour from Chthonic. This heart wants to go home, and because it murdered many of you, maybe let it go home. Does that make more sense?
Look, Dr. Carcoss, I appreciate that you're a, man of morals. You haven't been up in this world long enough to know how it works.
My morals aren't in question. That thing is nosebleed us.
Okay, but it murdered. It tried to kill me. So I figure if it killed me, and Captain Kelly here got the heart, that seems like we're square to me.
Absolutely.
I want to, just as a note, Bat is still on the floor in pieces.
Oh yeah, I think Whistlin is helping to gather Bat up. It's just kind of pushing.
All of the bats seem way more sluggish than they normally are.
Zora feels like she's helping by trying to sort of get back in touch with her own mind. It is kind of half meditating, being like, I will help Bat in the moment.
Yeah, Whistlin's just physically picking up bats and stacking them on top of each other, trying to fill, just trying to make a.
They're all like drunkenly, like laying on top of each other, and like they're not really making much of a shape at the moment, as much as they are, for one reason or another. It seems like they are trying to coalesce as you put them on top of each other. But it seems very slow at first. But I think you can tell that they're like just kind of coming out of a daze a little bit.
It's like a puzzle without any corner pieces. I don't know which one goes where.
While Carcoss is not helping this deluge of bats, there is a little furry squirrel just like picking up each bat in its mouth and slowly trying to hand them back to Whistlin so they could be built up.
Thank you.
I think it finds a lizard on the floor as well.
It's a squirrel. It's just gonna put it with the rest.
Yeah.
Izora this doesn't have any mechanical value because she's not in any connection to anything. She's just humming and like channeling vibes towards Bat.
Good vibes, good vibes.
Okay. I'm gonna deal with the bats now. Everyone out of my operating room.
Oh, I thought we were having a crew meeting.
Do that in the
Hallway?
place where the food is.
Mess hall.
Mess
Or
hall.
galley,
Yeah,
maybe?
do that at
Galley.
Galley. Yeah, do that in the galley.
Yeah, we got a galley.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Carcoss, cool off a bit. We'll see you in the galley in a few. Takes a swig from her flask and walks out.
Izora's gonna follow behind Kelly way too close.
She looks over her shoulder. Oh, fuck, God. Zora, hi.
Captain Kelly,
Good to see you.
we are having meeting.
I suppose so.
I am eager to hear what you have to say, oh Captain.
Yeah, me too.
She just spends the entire walk like
Just breathing down her neck.
way too close.
I've just got like a big tarp that I've gathered up all the bats into, and I'm just kind of like waddling with it and looking ahead, being like, glad it's not me.
Like picking up Legos?
No, bring it back here. I'll reassemble. I've got this.
Oh, you're putting Bat back
Oh,
together.
you got it. Oh, okay. And I put it back down.
Yeah. I just take the tarp and pull it slowly back into the engine room, just making sure no bats fall out of it. I keep finding them in my pockets in this gray coat of mine. I'm just like chucking them back in, yanking, chucking, back in.
I'm just imagining Ahab the squirrel like scurrying everywhere, picking up the bats as they sort of tumble out of the tarp.
Exactly that. Yes.
Doing like a parkour off of equipment to go get more bats.
Ezra, can you give me a roll to help put our friend back together?
Not normally I would,
Yeah,
but I'd like to do something a bit different, if that's okay.
I can't wait.
Cannot wait.
Okay, it was
wait
great
to
having
hear
you on my first dungeon.
Yeah, no, it's been wonderful.
This is where we learned that Carcoss is the big bad who's slowly killing us off one by one.
You left me alone. This is your fault.
This is when Elliot says, I'd like everyone else to take off their headphones, please.
Oh, God.
So I viciously throw each bat inside the heart, letting it grind. No.
Oh my god.
I'm not doing that, I swear. Okay, I go, there's the wall in here, because this is where Carcoss basically has his crew quarters, because this is where he was awoken. And there's a wall there of shelving, and he picks a small jar up the shelf, a jar full of his old fears, a jar that's filled with poison. But in this case, handy for a different purpose. And as he uncorks it, he pours some into a small dish and sets it on fire, lighting the incense and allowing it to fill the room with a sort of salty, smoky smell. And I'm going to mark my jar of old fears and heal a mark of mire from any member of the crew, this case bats, and gain a whisper based upon that mire's nature.
Ooh.
Nice.
So Bats' mire was his voices being disconnected, right, Bats?
Yeah. It was all of the different bats kind of not in unison.
Do you have a whisper in mind already, Ezra? I can give you one.
Give me one. Yeah.
I'm thinking a chorus of voices would be nice.
All right, let's do a chorus of voices.
That's good.
As this sort of hypnotic incense fills the air. All right, Bats, I feel like that this division between you and... Is that a lizard? I'm not going to ask questions. This division between you and yourself, it needs to come to an end. So now listen. Breathe in, nice and slow, all at once. Breathe out. Breathe in. And as we fade out, just constantly telling Bats to breathe. They slowly will come together.
As bats begin to climb upon themselves, wrapping their leathery arms around each other, creating the form of Bat once more, I think it occurs to Dr. Ezra that Bat looks very different now. No longer gangly and misshapen in some places due to a hazy remembrance of a form. Bat has a complete idea of what it should look like because it has seen it for the first time in a long time. And it's still strange. It is still a body with skin of thin leather with writhing forms underneath, but it isn't... Well, it's certainly not tall anymore. It's rather short. Around the size, like... What would we say is the average height of a 17-year-old human?
I mean,
5'8".
depends upon... Yeah, 5'8".
Yeah, I think they were a little shorter than most. So let's go 5'4", 5'5". The form and the silhouette of it is much more recognizable as being humanoid in base, but it's still furry, slightly translucent. The eyes aren't quite right. They're still big, black, and beady. And there's like the kind of like semblance of like trying to make like tufts of short curly hair that is just a mass of bats curling in on themselves.
Oh my god.
There's still not the right number of limbs. Right now, they've got 3 arms rocking, but rather than being... They're the right size. All 3 of them are the right size now. A proper proportion of the body. And the 3rd arm has decided to stay right above the right clavicle, kind of building out as an arm, resting like a little bit like hunkered over the back, kind of resting a little bit on the shoulder. And that's Bat now.
And that's Bat now. We see this reformation of Bat, and then I think if you guys are cool with it, we'll cut to this crew meeting.
Yeah.
Whistlin makes his way to the galley and sees Cherry off in the background, whipping up some kind of brew, grabbing a bunch of different stuff that he is not familiar with. He's a little suspicious, but he starts just opening up the cabinets and the cupboards and the drawers, trying to find just like a scrap of food just to nibble on. Like he's not even hungry necessarily, just like peckish. And the more he opens up the cabinets and drawers and things, the more he is reminded that it's been, I don't know, weeks since we've been in port, to his memory at least. And it's been probably like months since we've had a proper char on the ship.
If ever.
If ever. I mean, it's like really, really beginning to show. And I think he looks back and sees Captain Kelly down the hallway, kind of coming into this room, and picks up an instrument, very pointedly looks at her, and begins to sing.
I thought I heard the old char say, last call, boys, it's over. All the grains run dry, meat's drowned in flies, and it's marrow for the morrow. Nothing left to savor now, the wind's not in our favor. We've dined, our last worst come to pass, and it's marrow for the morrow. Marrow for the morrow. I thought I heard the old char say, last call, boys, it's over. All the grains run dry, meat's drowned in flies, and it's marrow for the morrow. Nothing fresh, hearty, sweet, the galley's stripped of sundries. Last drop of drink, now we're in the sink, and it's marrow for the morrow. Marrow for the morrow. I thought I heard the old char say, last call, boys, it's over. All the grains run dry, meat's drowned in flies, and it's marrow for the morrow. I dream of meat, her precious heat, sipping stew and brandy. Tend to see it today, then the old char say, boys, it's marrow for the morrow. Marrow for the morrow. Marrow for the morrow.
As the last few notes of Marrow for the Morrow plays, everybody arrives into the galley for this meeting. As Cherry brings in a tray of nice tea.
I have set the massive wooden bowl in the middle of the table, and I've gathered like sort of the mishmash of mugs that none of them match because we've probably gathered them from everywhere we've stopped. Do we have a way in this galley to heat food?
You're the steep, you tell me.
No.
Man, if there's nothing I like, it's a decisive answer.
No.
Well, I mean,
I mean, this is your room to make shit happen, so yeah.
Well, the thing, Cherry's specialty is sun tea, which is leaving the water out on the deck to let the heat from the sun infuse the water. So right. I don't think she cares about whether people have warm food or not. If they want it, they can figure it out. But she certainly isn't using anything in the galley. So she sets down a sort of like a tepid bowl of a water that just has a bunch of nice things floating in it. It's nice tea.
Can we also say that all of the mugs, because I do like the idea of us, every port we go into, buying like a souvenir mug. So they're all like... Yep. Have the name of the port or like a painted image of whatever their big attraction was or whatever that place was.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to... This is my goal for right now. I'm going to tell you explicitly what I want to do.
Please.
I want to know what is in this tea, and I want to roll as many dice as possible to make this happen.
All right,
Izora doesn't care. She's going to just take a big scoop of it.
I also think, Whistlin, you... I feel like your sheaf of 100 stories might apply to what's happened to you today. Realizing that there is a piece of you didn't remember.
Oh, sure.
Ooh.
Gain a whisper whenever you encounter a spectacle, horror, or new port during a journey.
Yeah. what kind of whisper do you think I'd gain?
I don't have one offhand.
How about the call of the Leviathan?
How do you feel about that, Whistlin?
Hey, I'll take that.
Take it.
You got it.
You got it. That's yours. Take that to the bank. And then tell me what you want to roll to figure out what's in this tea.
I'm looking at Cherry. My eyes just narrow to the little slits. And I see Cherry just standing there smiling big and happy-go-lucky with a big tray of tea. I've got a 3 in study, and I've got an edge in sharp.
Okay.
My eyes are glancing around the area. I'm studying up on this, and I'm hoping to gain advantage from watching Izora first take a sip to see if there's see what's going on.
Izora, do you take a sip?
Yes, but I feel that Whistlin should know that Azora's going to add a pinch of her hallucinogenic leaf. She's just going to microdose a little bit.
Little microdose for... She's had a tough morning.
I've had a tough morning. I want to reconnect with myself, and this is a good way to do it. So she adds a little... You see her add a little pinch to it. But yes, and then Izora is just going to take a sip. She does the thing where it's like when you're drinking a hot beverage, where you kind of, your whole shoulders hunch up, and you sip, and it's like, ooh la la. Except that it's tepid. She's, yeah.
I feel like the addition of the hallucinogenic negates the advantage I was hoping for.
I'm
so sorry.
I would probably say so.
So sorry.
So just rolling 4.
Just roll 4.
5, 5, 4, 4.
Oh, twist.
Cherry, can you tell Whistlin all the ingredients but one?
No!
Yep. Cloves, ginger, pink peppercorn.
Very chai-like.
Yeah, it is very much so. Some cacao nibs to make it a little bit chocolatey.
Sure.
A dash of actual pu'er tea, which has been fermented. We have a block of it in the, and I really reserve that for special occasions. And something, just a little bit of sweetness, probably honey, and an indistinguishable taste, not something you've ever tasted in Cherry's tea before, depending on how often you drink it, which I feel like I don't know how often you actually
Whistlin does not.
Yeah.
I think Whistlin very rarely drinks the tea, but sniffs and smells all these familiar flavors, kind of looks around the galley, and it's like, okay, there's nothing weird in sight. I see Izora drinking, I'm like, that doesn't matter.
Can I make a twist recommendation? Because there were twists there.
Oh, there was a twist.
Oh, yeah.
Just smelling Izora's tea as they sip it, Whistlin might actually believe that the hallucinogenic is in everyone's tea, not just Izora's.
I'm just looking at him like, I look over at Izora and I see the amount of hallucinogenic she put in her tea. I'm like, that's less than her usual dose.
Where'd the rest of it go?
And I just kind of lowered the tea and I'm just kind of holding it as politely as I can.
Kelly spikes her tea.
Good. It doesn't really matter how you take it. You can add whatever you like to it. But I did have an idea that I thought maybe would get us some answers, because feeling like today has been a little confusing and a lot. And sometimes you just need a good cup of tea to, just to center your thoughts. And then Cherry grabs a mug and fills it up with the tea and whispers into it as she says, and just find the truth in steam. Which is one of Cherry's whispers. As she does this, she takes out almost like a little mason jar that was full of just steam and pours it into her mug and then pours it over the rest of the bowl, and the whole thing is steaming now. And one of my aspects is reading the remains. Consume a specimen to ask a question and read an omen in your remnants of the tea. The specimen I'm using is my gorse root, so I'll get rid of it. It tastes like shit. And it's in the tea.
Okay, wow. Okay. So you want a discovery we're getting a discovery from the Whisper and an omen.
Yes, but I'd like to be specific, and maybe this is not the right course of action, and this is kind of metagamey. My idea for what I'd like to discover from this Whisper and from reading the omens of my remnants, this is my metagamey pitch that I'd like to... I want to hear what the rest of y'all think. Mm-hmm. But hear me out. It seemed like when we were getting flashes of memories, they were intentionally themed. You know, mine was about a Leviathan and Whistlin was about betrayal, but the one that I'm most interested in the one that seemed to be themed around lies. And so my question when I'm using this Whisper is, were the memories that we saw true? Or was there any falsities in them at all?
You cast this Whisper into Steam, Truth in Steam, and what you get back is the assuredness that these memories are each of your memories that you have regained from this heart. Furthermore, you understand that this heart doesn't have, and the being that it came from doesn't have the kind of motivations where it would lie to you. It's more of a natural force than something with like greed or betrayal or lies to it innately. And you also understand that you gained these memories back from the heart, but the heart was also the thing that took them from you.
That is deeply concerning.
What would you like to do with the omen?
The omen I roll for, I assume, because it's I guess I don't know. Do you have to roll for a trait? It doesn't necessarily say, it just says consume a specimen to ask a question and read an omen in your remnants.
I think with that, because you're consuming something, that feels like not a roll to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, then if that's the case, since we're all drinking the tea, I might, we have a question at our disposal that I would...
Maybe read the remnants of the whole bowl kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm willing to open it up to the crew if there's something we'd all like to ask.
Let's treat this tea like a little mini montage, so we don't have to do the whole conversation, but I want to know what each of you kind of wants to get across to the group in a question.
I want to know if this heart bears any ill will towards us.
That is a good thing to know.
Because that's what Whistlin's worried about. Listen, I'll drink your tea. Mm-hmm. I just want you to ask. I want to know if this thing's still mad at us. Because apparently, if we cut a heart out of this thing, I don't want to be giving it back and then it deciding to do the same to us.
Forgive me, but an omen is an omen of the future, not of the past. We should ask if not returning its heart will have unforeseen consequences. If it will push back or take revenge upon us, or... am I getting this across? I feel like I'm talking too much. I'm talking too much shit.
No, that makes sense.
Unfortunately, he makes a good point.
Yeah.
Izora puts a hand on Ezra to sort of quell you. You're not talking too much. Again, because she's just so damn quiet. You didn't see the hand coming, and you're like, hey! You do not talk too much. You are okay. But I agree that it is future we are looking for, and whether this heart wants to be returned to its body, or if it wants perhaps an alternative future that is not on this boat.
I like that. I also think there's maybe the possibility of asking what length it will go to get what it wants, because that might tell us what danger we might be in. Probably none.
That is a good thought, Cherry.
Bartholomew, any thoughts?
That has had a big day. Are you feeling okay? You're looking different now, Bet.
Can I just kind of like smack you on the back a little bit, like almost like trying to burp you? Like, here we go. You get your voice back.
A bat falls out onto the ground.
There you go, buddy.
And I think Bat like leans down, picks it up, and just puts it in mouth, swallows it again.
Doesn't make it better.
Doesn't make it better.
Bet, do you think some of the leaf would help? It helps me to reconnect with myself.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, just tell me when. And she just starts to sprinkle a little bit into your tea.
Just watches you sprinkle it.
Buddy,
For like a couple more seconds.
Buddy, you gotta say what you gotta say what, buddy.
When?
Buddy.
When?
The rest of the season is actually Bat's hallucination. Nothing from here on out can be confirmed.
It was all a dream.
So do we have a question in mind that we can agree on as a group for this omen?
I like Cherry's question of the sort of what are the lengths this heart will go to reach its goal.
Yeah, I like it too.
To get what it wants.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
That's what you ask?
Yeah.
You guys finish sipping your tea. Maybe you get to a point of idle conversation again, but it's a weird day. I think you maybe just finish your tea in silence. And Cherry, you pick up the bowl and, look at it at some different angles. And what everybody else sees is kind of a vague representation of what you see with much more clarity with your steep abilities and your connection to omens such as this. What you see is a depiction of the heart dripping into the mouths of many different creatures.
Oh my god.
Whistlin's really gonna try to tune that out. I'll take the recap from one of you. I'm not saying it works, but he's really trying to tamp it down.
And all the creatures have jet black eyes.
Oh no. Are these creatures
Beasts and plants and...
So this is the same Ichor that was coming out of everyone, correct?
Correct.
Question, because I don't know if we did. Bats also have this Ichor?
Yes, there's no reason you shouldn't, other than the fact that you're many little bats. But I think the head bats, I think their little noses had little drippies.
Little drippies.
Are you trying to make it cute now?
Yeah, making it cute, little drippies.
We know too much.
Izora's real freaked, and she's trying to play it cool, but she's not. And so she's gonna try to very silently, almost like the meme of Homer Simpson fading into a bush, sort of fade back out through the door and wants to go check on Clarabelle.
Before I go to Izora and Clarabelle, anybody else want to say anything in this meeting?
I think this is fine. I think it just means that the heart wants to keep us healthy, because if we're healthy, then we'll be able to get it where it needs to go. And I think that this is good. I think that this is positive.
You think that was positive? That didn't feel positive. That felt scary as hell.
I think the heart seeks to control. And I understand why. I mean, after all, I've helped others control.
Kelly's like, that's spooky as hell, Dr. Carcoss. And then Kelly leaves.
Whatever it is, This ichor, this bile, it is already in us. It dripped out like blood, so it must be in the blood.
And I have spoken my whisper in the blood.
In the blood?
Oh no!
And if I'm remembering correctly, speaking...
Can I go back into the past and shove the bats into the engine again?
Hey, come on! Come
And just
on!
not
What did
do this,
I do?
actually?
What did I do? Come on! Come on, why are you mad at me?
I do want to say something about you saying that whisper. We've heard a couple whispers today. When you say that whisper, there is similar to the night previous when the captain let out their whisper and there was that howling sound beneath it. There is a similar howling sound beneath your voice in a way that disconcerts you or is unexpected. But you could go ahead. What do you want from that whisper?
Huh, well, now you've said something terrible.
Now you've ruined it.
Now you've ruined it.
Izora hadn't gotten too far yet, and upon hearing this and feeling that growl underneath, is fully frozen in the hallway waiting.
Yeah, it's like a spine tingling sort of howl that sits underneath Beth's voice when they use their whisper.
She's embracing the silence, attempting to hear anything that she can to come of this.
I'm looking for what is I had it. What is saying?
Saying versus whispering.
Are you saying it?
Yes.
Saying it is you have a twist to like the world that you control.
Oh, interesting. Let me check our lines and fails really quick.
Yeah,
That's what
That's
everyone
never
loves
terrifying.
to hear.
Okay. We're good. The thing that immediately comes into their mind upon like seeing the vision, seeing how this has affected everyone, the ichor being in us, bad. And when the heart started beating and we started having these visions, that's when the ichor started coming out. And so I think in Bat's head, that's like, oh, ichor just got to be out of us and we're good. And so I think
bleed it out.
I think in that moment, as Bats says this, there is this deep convulsing within Bats as every bat inside of them begins just like spewing out this ichor and like a violent hemorrhaging of black goo. And just like almost like in a puddle seeping out from the stitches in their skin, out of every orifice that has manifested in this version of the body, just like right here in front of everyone. But all the ichor's out.
I'm gonna double down if I could.
Fucking double down.
Seeing what's happening with Bats, Ezra softens his voice but speaks clearly when he says, "Understanding these wretched noises, we must join as a chorus of voices." Causing everyone to convulse and vomit their ichor, including Ahab this world.
At first, Izora's a little concerned that maybe she just gave Bats too much of the hallucinogenic leaf. And then she hears everybody else start, and she's like, ooh, this is different. No, this is something, this wasn't me. I know my quantities. I know what the people can handle.
Similar to Bats' whisper, when Ezra says a chorus of voices on top of in the blood to amplify this change, you hear that similar bone-chilling howl beneath. But you guys can't hear that because all you can hear now is the expulsion of your own body of this Ichor. Man, sorry. Sorry, I was just trying to think where to go from there.
Did you predict this?
Just all of us just vomiting here as a little friend group, as like, you know.
I have a sort of a suggestion or a thing I was thinking of.
Please.
So Kelly has also left the room.
Yeah.
Can Izora hear Kelly and like kind of tell where Kelly might be?
Kelly's hanging out on the deck in her little like. She's built a recliner out of like some crates and a stool that she lounges on and drinks when it's sunny out.
I would like to use one of my aspects, which is Whispers in the Dark, while in a dimly lit or unlit area, mark to learn a secret from the darkness. Izora is very unhappy with Kelly of being confused by everything that is going on, and so wants to hide in the darkness while she tries to very quietly throw up. And learn something about our captain.
As this Ichor is expelled from everyone, it flows together around the ship, through the cracks and pipes, rejoining with the parts of it. And part of it that comes out of you, for but a moment, forms a figure shape, this whisper in the dark, and whispers to you and says,
The captain holds the whisper, the pain of remembrance.
and then collapses into a puddle. That is one of Captain Kelly's whispers, which this Ichor in the dark tells you. Zora, as you absorb this information from the Ichor, and that bit rejoins with the mass of it as it all flows back into the heart. You realize that Clarabelle's been pulling the ship while you guys have been having this conversation, and what you hear in the distance is a slow bell of civilization. She has autopiloted you to a port that you guys know quite well. The name of the port is Oddson's Respit. And as you hear this bell in the distance, you guys come up to the deck and you see that has emerged in the thrash this great port built into the oversized ribcage of a leviathan. Plant life has grown up the ribs, and lives have settled for generations within this ribcage. No one knows what this beast once was or when it fell, but now it is the home of Oddson's Respite. And as you guys dock, you're approached at the dock by a young gal approaches the ship with a gun trained on you as you are on the deck and says, "State your business."
Oh, we are just a traveling research vessel. We are here to restock on some supplies.
He cocks his gun and he says, "What's on board?"
You know, just people in just various sundries and stuff.
He's on edge, like you approached, with a threatening aura.
Can I walk towards him and just like kind of have my wings slightly open, a very like non-threatening gesture, be like, "Hey, what's you guys looking for something? Is something the matter?"
He points the gun at you, whistling as you approach.
Oh, hey, sorry. I
What is on board?
I mean,
Just
you're
our
welcome.
crew and our research. We have a lot of snepographs from the places we have been.
Then just behind him, this large Ectus, sort of a more jovial character, comes up and puts a hand on his shoulder and says, "Hey, whoa, what's the problem? Welcome to Oddson's Respite. Why don't you cool off, go?" And the young gal kind of shakes his head, and you see him wipe a little bit of black ichor out from under his nose. And that is all for this episode of The Wildsea.
Okay, wait.
Okay, wait, but hey,
Join us
Hang on
next
a
week
sec.
as we explore Oddson's Respit with our crew of little less Ichor-filled wild sailors.
Hey,
Are
good thing
we
we got that
though?
Ichor out.
Hey, we got
Good
the
thing we
Ichor
got
out.
the
I got
Ichor
the
out.
poison out from us.
Aye, aye, everybody.
Aye. What's with the heart?
What's up with our heart?
Heart.
This season of My First Dungeon is sponsored by Mythworks. Grab your own copy of The Wildsea by going to myth.works and use the promo code MyFirstDungeon to get 25% off your order. My First Dungeon presents The Wildsea features the voice talents of Elliot Davis, Brian Flaherty, Abby Hepworth, Nordin Kadir, Kendrick Smith, and Jay Strautman. This episode was produced by Shenuque Tissera and Elliot Davis. Editing and sound design by Brian Flaherty. Theme song and original music by Behold. Additional music from artlist.io. The tree shanty Marrow for the Morrow was written by Brian Flaherty and Jay Strautman, performed by Brian Flaherty with instrumentation by Behold, and featuring the voices of Behold and Elliot Davis. My First Dungeon is a many-sided media production. To hear the cast talkback and more, visit us on our Patreon. And as always, remember, if you're having fun, you're already doing it right.
If you're hearing this, that means you listened to every last second of this episode. And if you simply cannot wait until the next episode drops, you should head over to patreon.com/myfirstdungeonpod and become a member of the Dice Pool. Fresh! For just a few bucks a month, you'll get cast talkbacks, original games, and a full-length bonus actual play each and every month. As of the end of 2023, there's already over 20 hours of bonus audio, plus a whole bunch of other goodies to enjoy. So head on over to patreon.com/myfirstdungeonpod and jump on into the dice pool. We'll see you there. Splash!